Yo, yo, what's up? Here I go with the flow of the day. Let's go. Alright, that's probably loud enough. So yeah, this is Blocsonic, the radio. No lightning? Oh man, I'm bummed. It's supposed to be lightning. I think I've heard this song before. Oh, my kitty cats are going at it. Now I'm watching my kitty cats fight, or like stare each other down. So yeah, what am I gonna build? I gotta figure that out. I started the stream before I knew what I was gonna do. Okay, well, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm listening to music. This is kind of interesting. Punk music. Or like rock, whatever. Let's breed some pigs. I need food, pigs. You will be my food. Yeah, dude. Go for it. Make babies that I will later slaughter and eat. Damn, dude, this is all super loud. Holy shit. Even if I turn it down. Like, I can't lower it anymore. There we go. Super fucking loud music. Yes, cows, make more so I can eat you and use your skins for books. Yes, my little sheep. Wait. Yeah, there it is. Make babies. Make more babies. I need 16 sheep so I can make my sheep farm. Yeah, dude, some bad news happened today. Bad news. I'm kind of bumming. So what happened today that's making me bummed out? What's the bad news? So as you know, Donald Trump is in court. It has trials for like a bunch of different things, and so trying to keep abreast of all the trials is kind of a lot of work. So in one trial, now he has trials at two different levels. He has trials at the state level, and he has trials at the federal level. At the state level, Donald Trump doesn't control anything because they're individual states, right? So he can't go. It would take him forever to go and corrupt all 50 individual states. He can't do it. He can't do it. So, you know, that's not happening. But at the federal level, he can corrupt it. It's pretty easy for him because he was president. So all he has to do is like appoint the judges, and then those judges will decide his court cases, you know, on the federal level. So that's what he did when he was president. He packed all the federal courts with judges that would be friendly toward him. I mean, it's been a long project, right? It's not like Donald Trump just up and decided to overthrow the government. Like, it's been a long time in the making, because, you know, it never really went away after the Confederates. You know, the Confederates didn't really go away. They lost their territory when they lost the Civil War, but they kept their power, and they spread into the West. And after the, you know, as the United States expanded, and they spread faster than the Yankees spread. So we have an undemocratic, like, the United States isn't the government isn't set up for democracy. It's set up for rule by the elite. That's the Senate, right? That's why one person can block the will of the majority of Americans because it's set up that way. Dude, this is hella loud. Like, nothing I can do. Every song is gonna be loud again. I don't know if I have to like stop and redo it or what.
It's an electrical Russian loving. It's an electrical love disease. It might be cruel and not made to suffer.
So Donald Trump at the federal level has judges that are friendly toward him, especially at the Supreme Court. He appointed 3 Supreme Court members, at least 3, which is a lot, right? Obama should have got one of those Supreme Court nominations, but Obama was blocked by Mitch McConnell, who just refused to give a vote on his dude. He just refused to give a vote. He just refused to for like a year. So the Supreme Court is stacked for conservatives, well, I should say the Confederates. The Supreme Court is stacked for the Confederates. And anyways, Donald Trump has all these court cases, and he doesn't control the state level, but he controls the federal level. I mean, he doesn't control it directly, but he's a mob boss, so he controls it with corruption. Now, Donald Trump has a court case in Washington, D.C., where he doesn't control the judge. He does not control the judge in Washington, D.C. He also has a court case in Florida, a federal court case in Florida, but he owns the judge there in Florida. So the judge in Florida was already doing things to do what Donald Trump wanted. What is it that Donald Trump wants? Donald Trump cannot win his court cases. He cannot win because he's guilty of all the crimes that he's charged with, and many more. So he's not even trying to win the court cases because he can't. He'll lose. Instead, Donald Trump's idea is to delay the court cases. Delay until after the election. That way, Donald Trump can seize power and then dismiss all the court cases against him. He gets rid of rule of law. If Donald Trump becomes president, takes power, he will get rid of rule of law, and then that way he doesn't have to worry about it because, you know, there's no more rule of law. But he needs to delay the court cases until after the election, after he's president, or after he's still, you know, it's not guaranteed that he's gonna win the election, but it's guaranteed that he's gonna try to start a war afterwards. After he loses, it's guaranteed. He's like, that's what he did at the end of 2020 when he lost the election then. So it's guaranteed that he's gonna do it again. I mean, why wouldn't he, right? It almost worked the last time. and he got away with it with no consequences. Nothing happened to him. Why wouldn't he try again? So Donald Trump is going to try to overthrow the government, overthrow the United States again, after he loses the election. And if he's successful in overthrowing the government, he can get rid of rule of law, and all of those court cases that are threatening him are all gone. They're all gone, because you can't. You know, what's a court without rule of law? It's nothing. So he's not trying to win his court cases. He's trying to delay the case as long as possible to give him a chance to overthrow the government. To that end, he makes stupid arguments that are not worth the time for anything. They're stupid arguments. One of these arguments that he makes is that the president is king. He says that the president is above the law. The president is not subject to the law. Therefore, Donald Trump can't be guilty of any crimes when he was president, because the president is above the law. That's a stupid idea, right? I don't think Americans fought the British and fought the King of England just to put another king there. In fact, George Washington famously declined becoming King of America. Like, if anyone could have done it, he could have done it right then and there. But he didn't want to do it, because the United States is not about having a king. But Donald Trump is all about the kingship. He wants to be king. So he made this argument that he can't be held liable for the crimes that he did because he's king, and the king is above the law. Well, that's a stupid argument, right? So the judge that he gave it to, judge at the DC court, like threw it down, wrote a big fat opinion about it, and like knocked it down. Trump appealed it. It went to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. There, Donald Trump lost again, unanimously. All the judges said, no, Donald Trump, you're not king. So there hasn't been any like I don't know how to say it, break. They've all said the same thing. There's no disparity between courts. All the courts agree. So then Donald Trump made another appeal to the Supreme Court. Now at the Supreme Court, Donald Trump owns at least 2 judges. One of the judges, Clarence Thomas, is already bribed by billionaires, and his wife was instrumental in organizing the January 6th insurrection. So Clarence Thomas is already on board with saying that Donald Trump is a king. Then you have Sammy Alito. Sammy Alito is also on board with Donald Trump being a king. So Donald Trump already has 2 votes to make him king. Now remember, Donald Trump appointed like 3 other justices: Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, and Gorsuch. Those 3 judges, because they were appointed by Trump, are likely in favor of Trump. So already that's 5 right there, right? You already have enough people to declare Donald Trump a king in the eyes of the court. In the eyes of the people, it's going to be different, right? If the court does that, it's going to be a civil war. Like, it's going to be a civil war. Like, the odds of a civil war in the United States have gone up dramatically since the Supreme Court decided to take this case. Because that's the thing. They didn't need to. They didn't need to take this case. They didn't need to take this case. They didn't have to. In fact, it was pretty stupid of them to take the case because there was no dissension in the lower courts. All the other courts already agreed that Donald Trump is not king. So what purpose does it serve for the Supreme Court to take up a case that's already been decided unanimously, all in the same direction? The only reason why the Supreme Court would take up a case like that is because if they want to do something different. So yeah, the odds of a civil war in the United States have gone up a lot. Because in order for Donald Trump's plan to work, he needs to delay the cases until after the election. And by the Supreme Court deciding to take the case when they didn't have to, they have effectively done that. They have all his court cases, all the cases against Donald Trump that are federal level, have been pushed off while the courts decide, the Supreme Court decides if Donald Trump is king. And what's funny is that the way it's designed, it's that this ruling would apply to Joe Biden as well, right? It would be Joe Biden as well. So the Supreme Court wants to see who's going to come out on top of the power struggle between between the Americans and the Confederates. If Joe Biden comes out as the winner of the power struggle and the Americans win, the Unionists win, then the Supreme Court will say no, the president is not king. But if the Confederates win and Donald Trump seizes power, then the courts will say yes, Donald Trump is king. So Donald Trump has effectively removed the courts. Dude, it's so fucking loud. I can't do it. Every time I have to like readjust the volume. So that's what we're looking at, right? we're looking at Donald Trump successfully delaying justice until after the election to give him time to do over his coup attempt. Like, we were lucky the first time that the coup didn't succeed. We were lucky that it didn't actually take place. It didn't happen. That the Capitol Police were able to fight off Donald's mob, and that no Congress members were murdered by the mob, and that Mike Pence decided not to go along with the coup. That's what saved us. Mike Pence decided not to go along with the coup, and the Capitol Police stopped the mob from murdering Congress. That's why we made it last time. So Donald Trump learned from his mistakes. He learned from his mistakes, and his second coup attempt will be much better, a much better attempt. And the Supreme Court is giving him that chance by taking up a case they don't need to take up and then waiting so long to hear it. When there was an argument, or when there was a court case in Bush v. Gore to decide who would get the presidency, the Supreme Court took 3 days. Just 3 days. This court now, that's deciding if Donald Trump is king, is taking 3 months. Why so much time? Why so much time? Because Donald Trump needs the delay in order to launch his second coup attempt. That's why. That's why they're taking so long. It's not that the courts can't move faster, because we already know they can. You know, look at Bush v. Gore. 3 days. It took 3 days to decide that the Supreme Court was going to give the presidency to W. Bush. But to decide if Donald Trump is king, they don't want to make that decision until after the election. So the odds of a civil war in the United States has gone up dramatically. Because no matter what happens in November, there's going to be a fight. Right? If Joe Biden wins, then the Confederates are going to launch an attack like they did last time. And Donald Trump can't win because he doesn't have enough people. He's never won an election. He's never won the popular vote. He's never really won an election. In 2016, he had the help of Russia. So he didn't win that election legitimately. And then he lost the election in 2020, like straight up lost it. So he's never really won an election. But, so you know, so the only thing that can happen is if he like seizes power somehow. And I'm not sure how, but he can seize power, right? And then if he seizes power, it's the American experiment is over. Democracy is over. Now already there's a number of people who live in the United States whose ancestors are American, but they themselves no longer follow the American values and want to overthrow the country and install a dictatorship. So there's a lot of those people who have betrayed their ancestors and betrayed their country in order to seize power. Like, they're going to become violent once they lose the election. And if they win not even they win the election, they can't win the election. But if Donald Trump seizes power, they're going to become violent anyways, because they'll be able to live out all their racist fantasies. And there's no rule of law once Donald Trump seizes power. So yeah, this is a real battle between the forces of good and evil. Donald Trump is like totally evil. And if we're not successful in defeating Donald Trump, the world is gonna hurt real bad. It's gonna be real bad for the world. Because it's not just bad for America, but for all democracies. I mean, like, the United States has the strongest military in the world. Imagine that strongest military in the world now belongs to a dictatorship who's antagonistic toward democracies. Like, it's pretty fucking significant that the Supreme Court decided to take this case. Like, if Donald Trump takes power, I have to leave the country or he'll kill me. I've talked so much shit about Donald Trump. I've advocated strongly that the United States needs to execute Donald Trump. But if he takes power, guess who's coming after? All his enemies. He said as much, right? Donald Trump has said as much. He's coming after all his enemies if he ever gets power.
Digital, metaphysical, carbon copy, originals, unpredictable, stereotypical individuals, unforgettable visuals, minimal out of principle, glitch critical, switch flips to digital, graphic.
Dude, so many rhymes packed together. So yeah, Donald Trump, bad guy, super bad guy. We're in a this is like the fucking last boss guy type thing. Wow, shit just got real. Real for me at least. Like, I thought for sure the Supreme Court would never take up the court case, because it was already settled and Donald Trump represents a threat to them, right? What good is a Supreme Court when there's no law anymore? Then those Supreme Court justices don't mean anything to Donald Trump, and he can have them killed. He doesn't need them anymore. He'll kill them. They have no... Why let them have power after Donald Trump takes control? He won't let them have power. He'll get rid of the Supreme Court. So I thought for sure the Supreme Court would be smart enough not to take Donald's, bait. But I guess not, dude. I was wrong. I mean, I didn't think it would be that much of a question to ask, or to to say, oh, is the president the king? Like, of course not, guys. Of course not. Everyone can read the Constitution. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say the president is king. Nowhere. But here we are nonetheless.
This really real life, not just reading views on Reddit. Companion cyborgs with human facial kinetics, artificial aesthetic, full body prosthetics. Attraction is magnetic, catch eyes, turn heads. The direction that we're headed in.
I'd turn heads.
In the method that they spread it with. Not talking vaccinations either. Take a breather. They'll greet you with the sweet release that feel like breathing ether. Wake up fully modified.
Breathe in ether. I like that one.
Next in line to meet the surgeon's cleaver. Presently and future past.
Cleaver, dude, I've heard that so many times. Cleaver.
Fixation, credit limit payments, promise of a future, and it turned into a threat.
They always rhyme cleaver.
Promised if you can't afford the debt.
Leave it to Beaver.
Physical carbon copy originals, unpredictable, stereotypical individuals, unforgettable visuals, minimal out.
Man, I can't be like dogging the rhymes. That's pretty sick what he's doing. It's pretty amazing. Look how quick they are and dense. It's like super dense, dude. It's like trying to cut through like titanium. Fuck, dude, it's super dense. Trying to cut through lead. So that's one thing that happened. Another thing that happened was that Donald Trump, so you know that Donald Trump owes Jean Carroll like $500 million. Well, no. He owes Jean Carroll like 83 million plus the other 5 million, right? So that's like about $90 million he owes Jean Carroll. Then he lost his New York fraud case. See, these are both cases that are state level, not federal level. I mean, so Donald Trump doesn't have control over the judges there. And on those court cases, he already lost. So he owes them lots of money. And in the New York fraud case, he found out that he lost. That he owes like how much? $463 million or billion, yeah, $1 million. $463 million. That's a lot of money, dudes. That's a lot of money. So, the thing is that Donald Trump wants to appeal the ruling, but according to the law, Donald Trump can only appeal the ruling after he's already given the court 120% of the fine. Right, 100. You know, he's got to pay the bill. He's got to pay the insurance or the interest on it, and then if he gets a bond, he has to pay the bond as well. So they won't even do the appeals until Donald Trump is already paid up. The thing is that Donald Trump did a lawyer thing today, and in his lawyer thing, he said, "I am saying I don't have to pay the full amount. Instead of paying like $500 million, I'm only going to pay $100 million, and then I'll put up my property as collateral to cover the rest." So in other words, what Donald Trump is saying is that he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the 480 or $63 million he has to pay up to the court in order to do an appeal. He doesn't have it. If he had it, then he wouldn't be making the argument that he doesn't have to pay it. Because every day he doesn't pay it, there's interest accrued, and he has to pay more. And after 30 days, if Donald Trump hasn't paid the bill, then the Attorney General starts seizing his stuff and auctioning it off to pay the bill. So if Donald Trump doesn't want his stuff to be like ganked and repossessed, not even repossessed, if he doesn't want his stuff ganked, he needs to pay the full amount of money within 30 days. That's like the end of March or the beginning of April. I forget when. But no, it's the end of March. At the end of March, he has to pay up $483 million by the end of March, or the Attorney General will start seizing his buildings, his jets, his houses, whatever, dudes, anything they could get value for, and then sell it And then they use that money they get from selling his property. They first have to pay any debts associated to that property. And then any money left over goes toward paying the bill. If it's not enough, then they seize more property. So if Donald Trump had the money, had the cash, he would avoid this whole thing, because it's super dangerous. Once you lose your property, you're never getting it back. You're never getting that shit back once it's gone. So it's in the best interest of Donald Trump to pay the bill, man. Pay the bill. Instead, Donald Trump is trying to get to lower the amount of money he pays, because he doesn't have enough money. He would only make that kind of crazy risk if he had to. And he has to, because he doesn't have the money. He doesn't have the money. So that's at the state level, right? He can't get out of this. There's no way he can get out, because he wasn't the president of New York. He was the president of USA. So that's where he had all the power, at the federal level, not at the state level. So that's one thing. And then March 25th, Donald Trump finally has his first criminal trial. All these trials that we've had before, well, that have gone to trial, because the DC case and the DC case and the Florida case have not yet gone to trial. We're still at the pre-trial phase. And Donald Trump is still managing to delay those, right? Even though those are criminal trials, right, with felonies, they haven't actually gone to trial yet. But in March 25th in New York, Donald Trump is finally going to trial, criminal trial, over campaign violations. In order to win the presidency in 2016, Donald Trump used money from his campaign to pay for the silence of the sex worker that he met. Because Donald Trump felt that if it got out that he had employed a sex worker while he was married with Melania, then it might hurt his chances at winning the election. So Donald Trump used campaign funds to do this. Well, that's illegal. You can't use campaign funds to pay a personal crime like hush money. I guess there's nothing illegal with paying someone to keep quiet, but it's illegal to use campaign funds to pay someone to keep quiet. You can only use campaign funds for campaign related activities. It's not actually your money, dude. It's not actually your money. So Donald Trump committed fraud, election fraud, by hiding from the voters the fact that he paid a sex worker to be quiet with campaign funds. That's fraud, and you can go to prison for that. And because it's literally a crime. It's criminal. It's not just civil. All these other court cases that he's been in, that he's lost, it's all been at the state, at the civil level, because there's two levels, right? There's civil and then there's criminal. Civil, the most you can get are like monetary damages. That's it. But at criminal, now you're talking hard prison time. You're talking time in prison, in jail or something, incarceration. So this will be the first time. March 25th will be the first time Donald Trump has faced a trial in which, when he loses, he will go to jail. First time in his life. Because why is it the first time in his life that he's ever been faced with something like this? Because he's fucking rich. He was rich, and he used his wealth to protect. In American society, rich people have lots of ways of getting around the law, which is sad to say, and it's bad, but that's the truth. That's why Donald Trump was able to do what he did. It's because American society, there's a lot of levels that are corrupt. Money buys you a lot of things that you ought not to have in American society. It's pretty bad. We're trying to make it better, right? Because but we can't deny the fact that it's pretty bad. How could a man like Donald Trump even exist? He should have been caught by the police long ago, because he's a total con man. I mean, he literally worked with Russia to launder money. So yeah. Like, I like the music, dude, but in the background. In the background. How am I supposed to talk and people hear me if the music is so loud? They can't. So the lack of money does two things. Donald Trump has to sell his properties, and that reduces his prestige a lot. If Donald Trump loses Trump Tower, loses all his private jets, he can't say he's a billionaire anymore. And that's gonna, just the fact that he says he's a billionaire is enough for a lot of people to give him lots of leeway, because they think, oh, he's a billionaire, he must be brilliant. That's how he has so much money. And I must be dumb, that's why I'm poor. That's how they think, right? They think that's why people like morons like Elon Musk have such a fan base. Because people have broken ways, like it's what do they call it? Socialization. People have been socialized by late stage capitalism to associate wealth with superiority, with innate superiority. When that's absolutely not the case. But it allows very wealthy people to get away with stuff they shouldn't be able to get away with. So yeah, that brings me to wonder, should I get a firearm and start training? Because it looks like there's gonna be some kind of trouble in November. Either Joe Biden wins the election and then the MAGA go on the offensive, because that's what they did last time, or Donald Trump somehow seizes power and installs dictatorship and starts like rounding up people to either deport or murder or send to camps or imprison. And then you're fighting for your freedom, right? Now we're South America. And we'll be the ones like migrating and trying to claim asylum in other countries. Like, understand the fucking shit that we're in, guys and gals, everyone. Y'all understand the shit that we're in, y'all. Understand it. We're in some fucking shit. We're in some shit, y'all. Like, it would have been fine. It would have been fine had the Supreme Court just refused to do anything. Said, no, we're not going to listen to the case. It's already been talked about a million times already by the lower courts, and they've all said the same thing. They all agreed. There was no reason for them to pick it up. There was no reason. The only reason they have, no good reason. How about that? There was no good reason for them to pick it up. There wasn't any like discrepancies. The justices, it wasn't like the justices disagreed. None of the judges disagreed. Everyone agreed. Everyone was on the same page. Everyone was on the same page. There was no reason for the court case, and it was thoroughly discussed in the court hearings. Right? It was already talked about. There was no reason for them to pick it up, and yet they did. So if there's no good reason, there must be bad reasons. And the bad reason is to give Donald Trump the delay that he wanted. Donald Trump needed a delay to wait to do another coup attempt. And the Supreme Court just gave it to him. So there's no good reason why they should have done it, but there's bad reason. And the bad reason is to help Donald Trump do another coup. Like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess, well, no, yeah, Biden is a white supremacist. It's kind of shitty, but so far his white supremacy seems to be like outward and not inward. Whereas Donald Trump's racism and white supremacy is definitely inward. It's absolutely in. He's pointing it in toward the United States, not outward toward other people, other nations. He's pointing it in towards us. Dude, I like this flow. It's got flavor. I mean, the other guy had flavor too, right? I'm not, you know, that's... Yeah, dude, judge back, for sure. Judge me, judge back.
Jackpot! Ooh, it's a nice pink salmon color too.
Ace Ventura. Okay. There's like a better way of selecting stuff from the inventory, but I never think about it, right? I know I can do middle click to pick block, but I always forget about it because I've been playing Minecraft like for a real long time, and I don't think they had pick block back then. Although even there's stuff in here I'm still finding out about, like Bedrock doesn't even have the good stuff. Like, you can't double click to get all the items up in a box. You can't do it. It won't let you. So it's a bitch moving items in the box. Oh geez. So yeah. So, yeah. This song's about procreation. Ha ha ha. Not even procreation, just sex. Humans are wired for sex, dude. Check out how like how much it's used in marketing, because it works so good, because we're fucking hardwired for it, man. We're hardwired for it.
Looking through the lens hole that you're looking through, witnessing criminals doing what a criminal might do. Frantic at the crowd, it's a large one who doesn't understand the pain of the fam. This ain't scripted, this is real, folks. Why you acting like
I should, yeah, do work stuff. Man, processing new stuff, new information. Not the easiest, right? It's pretty tough. It's like, I know for a lot of people who listen to this, they're like, what the fuck is this shit going on? What the hell is he talking about? It's insider baseball, guys, or y'all. Insider baseball. I mean, sorry, but it's kind of important, insider baseball, because it's your country. I don't know. I do know, and it's weird. It's just weird. Man, look at the difference in yields. Like, you get almost nothing for potato or for wheat, but you get a shit ton for everything else. I wonder why that is. Let's do it again. Oh look, I can't. Now I guess I could make an automatic crop farm, but it's not really automatic. You have to have villagers do it. So is it really automatic? That's like saying, oh, I have an automatic coffee machine, and then you like have some kid go make you a cup of coffee, and then they give it to you, and you go, you see, automatic. No, dude, that wasn't automatic. Yeah, you gotta rethink the names of some of those farms. Like, there's no, I don't think, yeah. I think there's automatic, no, there's no such thing as an automatic wheat farm. Because to make the automatic wheat farm, you have to manually plant the seed. There's no mechanism to plant seeds by a machine. Either a player or a farmer, a villager, has to plant the seed. So you cannot make an automatic wheat farm or crop farm. You don't know what is real is anymore. You open up the door to nowhere. What? That's funny. I talk bullshit like, no, we don't want a king, no. Right? I say all this bullshit about that, right? And then I make my Minecraft world, and what do? I incarcerate like a mob of villagers since they were born. Since they were born, they're like they were locked in there. Well, but their parents were former zombies. That's why. And they're locked in there for their own safety, man. If a zombie ever got in here, they would get all eaten. I guess I can put a golem down here with them, so if a zombie ever got in, they could, you know, they had some defense. Really, the reason why I did it is so I could like easily get access to them when I, you know, if I wanted to make trades. But you know, I realized like they come reliably back to their workstation, like on a cycle, so that, you know, if you ever wanted to get a thing, you don't tag the villager that gives you the trade. You tag the workstation. Say like, this is the shop for mending books. And then you know the villager's gonna go there eventually. You just gotta hang out until, you know, their time for work. Yeah. The difference is those things aren't real. None of this is real. and we're real human beings. So it matters. But these guys are just not, they're digital representations, not even like players. They have no independent action. It's all pre-programmed. I mean, I guess, you know, that's kind of what animals are though, right? Like that operate on instinct, they're pre-programmed. Am I saying that they don't have free will? See, now I'm starting to like ask scary questions. Oh wait, now we've looped around. Alright. Stop. That's enough music for now. But yeah, interesting question. Anyways, kind of hard. I mean, it's fun because then I don't have to think about like how Donald Trump is like threatening to overthrow the United States. And he just got a big assist by the Supreme Court. I think that's what it is. Is that for a generation, the Supreme Court is gonna fuck everything. Because that's what they got it for. That's why Mitch McConnell denied Obama his Supreme Court justice. And they got Kennedy to retire. There was a deal that Kennedy would retire. And that paved the way for Kavanaugh. And I don't think Kennedy was happy about the deal, but like that's what happens when you deal with the devil. Donald Trump is going to betray everybody in order to save himself. And he wouldn't have to do that at all if he only didn't like egregiously break the law. It's not like anyone made him make deals with Russia. He's the one who chose to do that. I mean, we can maybe blame his father. But then, like, what do you do? Just go back forever? Like, like, at some point, someone's got to take responsibility. You got to take it for themselves. People got to take responsibility for themselves. See, this bamboo farm is no bueno. It's not working, dude. I need to redo it. I need to just fucking tear this whole thing down and remake it. I mean, for real. Like, it looks cool, man. That's the problem. It looks cool. It looks like a skyscraper. Like, so at like almost just aesthetically, it can live by just on that. But then the problem is the wastage. It's the wastage. Look at how many of these things get stuck on the land. They're supposed to like fly here. They're supposed to fly into the water and then be taken down into the storage system. But instead, a lot of them don't make it. And see, some of them do. Like that. That's what's supposed to happen. Some of them make it, but sometimes, a lot of times, they get stuck up here. And they just float around for 5 minutes until that point which they despawn and aren't in the world anymore. But for those 5 minutes, my computer has to render and think about and account for all these random floating things that do absolutely no good. But you think, oh, that's not a big deal, right? But when I run my gold farm, that thing is spitting out objects all the time. Plus, you have this guy down there. You know, all the time these golems are spawning and dropping their drops all the time. So like, it's a lot of stuff for Minecraft to account for all at once, is what I'm saying. I may have made a mistake in building it like this, so close together. It's a lot at once. So I was thinking, in order to like increase, plus the villagers down there I haven't even thought about. So in order to deal with all this nonsense, I was thinking, why don't I just tear these things down and remake some modern farms. I mean, there's no modern farm, but what I mean is like a more technology assisted farm. Like, I'm not using any observers over here. No observers. And in this one, only one hopper. Over there, I try to account for the wastage on that one, but it uses so many materials that it's not worth it. So yeah, I was considering remaking this farm with no water, like at this level. Like it'll be like at this level, but there'll be a glass block here so that nothing can fall into the water. And this will be, instead of grass, it will be mud. Mud allows for hoppers to pick it up, because mud is a little bit shorter than a grass block, so hoppers are able to pick it up. And that way I'm gonna just make hoppers come and then like along the whole line and go to a chest. I could theoretically use a minecart instead, but that just adds more things that are moving around for Minecraft to have to take care of. Plus, like, minecarts randomly in Bedrock will randomly like disappear, just not be there anymore, or stop moving and just for no reason just sit there. So I'm not a fan of minecarts as a collection system. I mean, I do it for like the wool, but yeah, not a fan. Anyways, what was I talking about? Listen to me. This is part of Minecraft, guys. I mean, or y'all. This is part of Minecraft. This is part of Minecraft. I hate to say it, right? You run around the world just doing whatever until inspiration hits, and you're like, oh, how about this? Ooh, how about that? Oh, and then suddenly, bam, you make something. So I'm dreaming about having wool. How am I gonna? I'm dreaming about how to make improve this farm. I haven't done it. Nothing's changed. Everything's here, right? But like, think about how much work it took to just like even conceptualize what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna use a whole bunch of observers. None of these things have observers, but now I have enough resources to make observers. Enough observers, like a shit ton of observers, and the farm will be 100% efficient rather than maybe like 50% efficient. So I can cut it in half, but that's the thing. Making the other farm is not aesthetically pleasing like these are. These are aesthetically pleasing. They appear to be skyscrapers in a way. But the other farm is not like that. It is it's flat and takes up a lot of footprint space, so it's not aesthetically pleasing. It just takes up a bunch of space and it's flat. Yeah. Plus, I have to manually make all the mud. If I knew of a I mean, technically I do. I know where I can go. I can go look up where I find a mangrove swamp, so I don't have to manually make the mud. But it's not like a lot. It's only like one stack. It would take more work to go to the mangrove swamp to dig it up than it would be just to make it by hand. But then I can always go to the mangrove swamp. Well, I have to go look it up, and I'm not going to do it midstream. Because I'm still streaming, and I'm still dreaming. Yeah, my dreams are interrupted, though, right? By the threat of death and genocide and dictatorship. There's people who really fucking want a dictator. That's dictatorship. They say it, and it's because they're like coming from a place of ignorance. They have no idea what a dictatorship is. They have no idea how bad it is. There's a reason why our ancestors fought against it. Like it's incredible that you would forget. And that, I think, is a failure of our education system. Man, there was a woman, I saw a story about a woman who fell and broke her hip in the parking lot on her way to vote in the primary for Donald Trump. I don't know if it's true or not, but and they've brought out a voting machine to her so she could make her vote for. While she was lying in the parking lot waiting for the ambulance for her broken hip. It's like, man, that's some dedication, but like in the wrong direction. Like such like heart and valor, like thrown away. You know what I mean? Like just wasted on Donald Trump. Like. Like she fucking toughed through it, like endured the pain of a fucking and the indignity of laying there on the fucking pavement. She endured that just so she could like do what she felt was right. Like, and that's great, man. That's awesome. It's just that she's been fucking misled so badly that it's like the epitome of tossing pearls to swine. Like, Donald Trump is like the worst. He is so not deserving of that kind of dedication. That's what gets me. It's like, you motherfucker. Like, imagine she weren't on Team Trump, because I want to like, I don't know, I can't say it, right? I'd like to think that her values are still American values, but she's just been trapped in an information bubble. I mean, I know there's people out there who are like full-on racists, and they fully intend on implementing Nazism, for sure. But I don't think everyone is like that. I think a lot of them have been tricked. And because they weren't well educated, I'm not saying like above high school. I mean, even just in high school, like. But really, nowadays, there's so much more to know that you probably need to be in school longer. Or maybe I could be wrong, right? I don't know. Yeah, I was pretty young. Two. Paper skins for books. Books to trade to these guys. I get a great deal, because this is one of the ones. This is the third zombie villager that I saved. The first two, the first two didn't make it, but that guy and the other guy made it, and I cured them of their zombiehood, and they became the basis of my village. And my iron farm. And incidentally, and my gold farm. Yeah, y'all, you got to understand, we're in an information war. That we're at war. We're at war with Russia. And the way they fight war is through information. They've done it many times to other countries already. Thank you. Or I could just make the deal more open, maybe not so enclosed, right? My main fear is zombies, and the zombie will still get them on the corners. So maybe if I put planks, or not planks, but trapdoors. Let's try it right now. No, not pressure plate. Trapdoor. Where's the trapdoor? Pop, 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 ba da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da da. And then do it again. Ba da ba ba. Oh, sorry, dude. Ba da ba 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 da ba da ba ba da ba da da ba da da ba da ba ba da ba 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 da ba 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 boom 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 da da ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba da ba 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 da ba ba da ba. Yeah, check it. Check it. Now what if I flip it up? I think that they can walk out. Yeah, because then no, it's yeah, because they'll fit through that way. I would need another one down there. Even then, they would still walk up and over it. Yeah, no. Do I even need... Oh yeah, the reason why I have those is for zombies, dude. Or not for zombies, but yeah, they're like full blocks. Ooh, dude, do I even need them? I don't even need them. What am I even doing? Because he's already held in place. Like, I don't know, is that like something bad? Like a crown, I place a crown upon your head, a crown of controlling. I don't know. I'm just trying to make a nicer, like, less confined area for you, dude. But everything I do makes it look worse. Like, do I even need this here? Yeah, because he'll jump out, man. Yeah, you need it there. Well, what if you put just one above his head so he can't jump? Oh, well then you don't need it. It was there for baby zombies not to jump up and eat his face. But if you're not worried about zombies, then you don't really need it. But if you take it off, he jumps out. Well, yeah, if you put one of them above his head, he can't jump out. Here, use the wood. The wood! I don't... Okay. Because that's annoying. No, I did it! Shit! He just like said, peace, I'm out of here. Alright. See, but that's alright, right? I was thinking about experimenting with this, because he's gonna come back, right? He just comes back. And there, I locked him in. So it's not like I like, if I want to like trade with him and I don't want him to go away, I can lock him in. But he doesn't, does he have to be always locked up? You know, shouldn't he be free to go where he wants? Right? Right? Yes. Okay. You're not stuck there, dude. You're free to go where you want, and then you don't even need this up here. I mean, yeah, you kind of do because he'll jump out, but you're free, right? I didn't lock you in. He's like, yeah, I'm free, dude. I'm just hanging out here. Well, see, that's how you do it. I don't need to lock them up. If I'm not worried about zombies coming and eating their face, because I haven't seen a zombie, right? Not since I've been out here. I've done a lot to light it up. So if they do spawn, it will be far, far underground. But yeah, if I can make it so that they're not locked up, that they're free to roam around, then I feel less bad about having them around. That's crazy. I'm holding all these books. Like, what will I do with all these books? Make more books. To create, man, I should be creating. I say all these things like, oh, I should be, but I'm like, I don't feel inspired. I'm like, what am I doing instead? Playing Minecraft. No. Like, what are you doing? No, dude. I mean, that's not true. I went to a protest. Oh, yeah. Hey, I can tell you about that. I went to a protest the other day. I went to a protest. So in Oregon, like, obviously, right? We're a cool state. We're a great state. Oregon's a great state. That's why people come here. That's why people want to come here. Because it's a great state. I don't blame them. But then, that means, but we also have a problem. And it's a problem that's all over the country. It's not just here. And the problem is that people get addicted to substances. And it's like a physical thing. It's not a reflection of the character. It's not, any more than you would say cancer. Oh, that person got cancer because they're bad. No, dude, that's not how cancer works. People don't get diseases because they're bad or good. They just get them. Same thing with drug addiction, with substance abuse. And so, I mean, that's like the fact. Like, it happens, even to good people. And then plus, like, but there's a lot of stigma to it, right? No one wants to deal with that guy, their family member, or that guy who is whatever. So that it's like a downward, it's like a feedback loop. Like you lose all your support. Like, maybe you're doing fine, and then you lost your job or something, or you get laid off, or like there's a work accident or something, or like whatever reason, right? You hurt your back while moving your furniture or something. Like, whatever reason, you can't work. Like, then the doctor will, prescribe you medication for the pain. And then the doctor will cut you off. just just cut you off. Because they're worried about the federal government coming in after them, after their license. So they're paranoid about looking like that they're like doing any shady thing with pain meds or drugs, opioids, whatever. So they don't want to even do it because they get scrutiny from the federal government. So they'll cut off their patients. But their patients still need it, right? Because they're still legitimately in pain. Chronic pain's the worst, dude. So where can you get it? From a guy I know. There's a guy I know who can get you some pills. That's how it works, man. Like it's not always like bad people doing bad things, rah rah rah. Sometimes it's just people like dealing with chronic pain. And then they because it's not quality controlled, like they overdose and die. Or they become severely dependent upon it. So instead of like, I don't know, you don't send the police after somebody who's got cancer. Why would you do it to like a person who's got a substance abuse problem? Like, yeah, maybe if they're like fucking actively destroying shit and like attacking people and stuff, okay. You need to keep order. But like not you don't want like fucking Nazi order, dude. That's crazy. You still want freedom of as much as you can get. You want it as much as you can get. Because maybe it's not apparent to me or you, but maybe there's a point to having some guy or like on the corner like openly doing drugs. Maybe there's a point to it. Or maybe the way to respond to it isn't going to be through the police force. It's going to be another way. Through the community, through a government initiative that's not the police, through a city initiative that's government, through something other than like sweep them up and lock them up, or just sweep them, like literally like force them to move from a public space. I don't know, I guess you can do that, right? That's what police do all the time. I've had it happen to me lots. I wouldn't say lots, but enough. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, Oregon, to that end, Oregon is trying something different. The voters of Oregon passed Measure 110. Measure 110 is a way for Oregon to deal with the drug problem. And instead of following what all the other states have been doing, which is criminalizing drug use and putting people in prison and feeding the prison system, instead of doing that, or not even the prison system, but the incarceration system, like it's a whole industry of warehousing humans for profit. So instead of doing that, which all the other states are already doing, and they have been doing, and it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. It hasn't stopped drug use. It hasn't made it any safer. If your goal is to save lives, it hasn't saved any lives. It's made it more dangerous. It makes it harder to get help. Not easier to get help. It makes it harder to get help when you're like gonna have to worry about the threat of incarceration. At any level. Like, I know there's an idea. Oh, well, then the police can route you to the substance abuse thing if you want, or we can compel it. You know, like, that doesn't work. You can't compel it. They've already done studies on this. They checked it out. When you force people to go to treatment, you don't help them. You actually leave them open to further abuse by those in the system. Because those classes or whatever that you have to take, you have to pay for. The government doesn't pay for it. You have to pay for it. And who are you paying? The government? No. A private corporation that's been contracted out by the government to do it. Like, the whole thing's just wrong. It's just designed to extract profit from poor people, because it's not enforced on rich people. It's just that rich people are able to have their own private place to do it, to pass out like stupidly. I don't know. I feel there's a grave threat to the United States, and that sense has went on like overdrive ever since the Supreme Court decided to review the court case. The court case concerning if Donald Trump is a king. Because they don't mean Joe Biden, because Joe Biden is president. So right now Joe Biden is president. So if what Donald Trump says is true, all Joe Biden has to do is to send SEAL Team 6 to assassinate Donald Trump. That's all he has to do, because the president is immune. But we know that's not what they mean. They don't mean that Joe Biden, they don't mean that the president is immune. They mean that Donald Trump is immune. I'm talking not to anyone in particular right now at this moment. I'm talking to the future, because that's who's going to hear this. We live in historic times. Like, what are the things I can tell you about that I see? A judge was sent another letter of white powder. So that's like the judge overseeing the fraud case in, I think, New York, at the state level, has been attacked by. Oh, that's my mom. I gotta get going. I gotta get going. I've been going for like an hour and a half. That's good enough. All right, peace out. Stop. Hello.